And we're joined by the head coach of the New York Giants, Joe Judge, here on the Joe Judge Report, presented by Stop and Shop. And, Coach, we're going to take a look at some plays from the game against Washington, some things to build upon for this football team, including springing Saquon Barkley for a 41-yard run.
Yeah, look, there's plenty we've got to clean up as a team to make sure we don't eliminate opportunities for us to be successful, but there's some positive things we want to build on as a team. And start with just some core principles of what we talk about. Now, first off, we talk about the run blocking and playing for your teammates and setting it up. And there's some great examples right here of hustle and technique and finish to get this run really sprung and how to finish it down the field. So we're going to start up here right now, all right, with Kenny. And Kenny's going to start at the very top. And you're going to watch right here that as Saquon springs this ball, all right, out the right side, he's going to be in a position right there. And at that point right there, that's the corner who's really looking to come outside in and support and stop that run. And because Kenny's locked up with his hands inside, moving his feet, and making a solid block down the field, that's the run alley in the lane that Saquon's able to use and really make an explosive run. Now, on the other side, we talk about just finishing through the whistle, talking about 60 minutes, but finishing the entire play on through. And it's a good example right here by the rookie, Kadarius. All right, just watch him at the bottom of the screen right here. Now, this is one right here. He clocks nearly 22 miles an hour on right here's effort. So he's setting up right here for the opportunity of possibly a pass. All right, and then you turn around, and the ball obviously springs out to the right. Saquon gets running. When he recognizes the ball's weight, you can just see him run and start passing up people right here. And again, never know when it's going to cut back or finish, looking for a block down the field. And it's just kind of the hustle and the effort we want to see our guys compete with for 60 minutes. Obviously, Saquon made a big run here, but it starts with the guys on the perimeter as well. Make sure they finish their blocks and get it going. Now, as we go to the back end right here, we'll kind of talk through the blocks. Now, when you start working on, the run game on Wednesdays and putting it on in, it's all real pretty on cards. It's all great when it looks in the playbook and it's base blocking schemes. What you're looking at right here, if you were to go ahead and draw this up right here, of how they're going to finish these blocks is those two are responsible for those two right there. Andrew's going to block back right here on the defensive end. All right. Will's going to block out. Nate's going to block out. All right. And then Caden's going to pull around right here and lead up on the Mike linebacker right there. Just a base scheme. And it looks all pretty and simple, but it's not about blocking them when they're standing still. It's how it gets going when they start moving. So some great reactions right here of the team. All right. Then once the ball snaps and bodies start flying, you see Billy Price make the adjustment right here. All right. Between him and Ben. And you see right there on the cross dog here, they exchange men. They turn into a single. They can no longer double back up to the backside. Andrew's on his man. Will's blocked up on his man right there. Nate's sitting there waiting on Chase. And as Chase feathers, Nate can't go ahead and just drive block him. He's got to push it up the field and maintain contact. But then also it's about blocking and not getting that restrictive holding penalty that you see so many times on the second level when you get an athlete flowing to the ball with vision on the ball and offensive lineman reacting. And then it's really a great job right here by Caden of really sealing it. Okay, and as he tracks on through, where he's anticipating pulling and leading up on a linebacker on the second level, well, they start moving. He's got to go ahead and adjust his track to hook around, seal the outside shoulder, and then get Saquon started right there. And he's going to go ahead and make a run off of Nate's block right here in the second level. So run it back and kind of playing it through how it looks. And there it is. There's that pin. There's that hole. You see Nate here with great vision. He's got the long arm on Chase right here. He knows at this point Saquon's going to have to make him right with his cut. He does a good job here of not getting the penalty, but staying with him, moving the feet and pressing it down. And at that point there, then the runner's got to make a play. He's outrun the inside pursuit. We got the good block again on the outside right there from Kenny. You can see the good form right there. Hands are inside and fit up on the defender. We're not going to get it outside. And the coaching point they're looking for, what the officials are looking for, is they tell you when your feet are beat. Meaning if I'm blocking you, Carl, my hands are inside, that's all legal. Once you get outside my body frame, my feet are beat, that's when the restriction happens. Sure. We're going to look for the holding penalty right there. And a good job, Saquon, finishing down the field right there, and obviously giving us an explosive play to get us in positive territory.
So, Coach, when you talk about the movement up front, that takes a lot of communication and guys just knowing what could possibly happen, because you got 5 different things happening not the way they were lined up. And so every guy knew if this guy hits, Caden had to seal, Hernandez had to kick out, Nate had to go in and keep it. So can you talk just a little bit about what happens in terms of responsibility when that ball is snapped and things start to change? Guys know their fits.
Right, because Bostic is already starting to move before you snap the ball.
And a lot of it's from the anticipation you're talking about right there. So it's reading your keys and your tendencies throughout the week in terms of the levels of the linebackers, of what they're cheating up and showing, of making sure you read your keys in terms of their mannerisms. We like to tell the offensive line a lot of times, they just can't help themselves. They want to put themselves in a blitz mannerism, or put themselves in some kind of cross dog mannerism, some kind of movement. You got to recognize the keys. Is it a situation where the end's tighter on the line of scrimmage and there's a safety coming up in support behind? You can anticipate the safety being off the edge and him crossing your face right there, start exchanging the blocks. But everything starts with base just run tags, okay? And without going through the whole library, everything we have, you could talk about an ace between, a center and a guard, okay? And they could ace block back with a double team combination, meaning they're going to go ahead and occupy this man right here until they climb up to the second level man and finish him off. So it's really a tandem block. Now, again, we talk about having the communication on the run. And you can go from an ace into a single where you're matched up right there, or you can go ahead and just keep hitting it. Well, I talk to them all the time about we've got to be really good communicators without talking. We've got to understand just with our eyes and at some points maybe a little hand check with your teammate because things move so fast. You're not going to have the time to truly get out the communication on the fly and ensure that somebody hears it all the time. So really this comes in that you just got to go ahead when you install the run, you start with the base easy looks, you start throwing in the different variables, you watch the tape of the opponent, and then you get it in practice. Now, the reality of the NFL is you don't get 1,000 reps in practice.
Right.
You get very limited reps. So you have to be very inventive about how you create extra reps. So when it's a defensive period and these offensive linemen are waiting for their turn to come back on, if they're not involved in the look team, they're over there walking through different looks with cards with Coach Sale, Flats, Ben, and Freddie Kitchens. All right, or how we meet in terms of meeting somewhat on our feet instead of just always sitting in a desk. And you got to steal extra reps meeting of just standing next to the man you're looking at, watching tape, and simulating stepping through the blocks that when these happen, what's it going to feel like for us? So when you start recognizing that mannerism pre-snap, and these guys know they're working together through that matchup, they can anticipate as he's cheating, we're going to get some kind of movement right here. And then again, there's other keys without going all over TV and telling what we're looking for. Is there tips on the feet of the defensive lineman? There's something on the shade or something on his tilt, whatever it may be. So you give them everything you can help with. At the end of the day, though, we tell our guys, you can't assume you got to still play with your eyes and react.
Sure.
Coach, now we're going to go to special teams, and I thought Graham Gano had a really strong game as far as his directional kicking. It looked like everything was outside the numbers, right down to about the 1 yard line when you asked him to, and it kind of sets up a lot of things, doesn't it?
Yeah, Graham had a great game for us tonight. 5 for 5 on field goals, 2 for 2 on PATs, hit some big situational kicks. But then again, it's not just what he does for the points, it's the kickoffs. And again, our mentality here is we're going to make you play every play. All right, kickoff's going to be a play we're looking to maximize the field position on, put you in a position where you got to prepare for everything. There's really no plays off. We're looking to make you return everything throughout the game. And, you know, really we talk about kickoff. We're going to watch from the side view. And the number one element of any kicking unit, you know, covering kicks is speed. You got to have speed. At the end of the day, you're looking to put as much pressure on the return team by running by them and let fold and flow guys play off the penetrators going down the field. So we're going to start from the side view right here. And again, what you allude to already is you look at the catch point, and the way Graham puts it, first off, the returner's buried in the corner. He has no choice but to return it right there to where the ball's kicked. So it eliminates the touchback right there and really puts him in an uneasy position where he's got to stand there flat-footed. Is it going in the end zone? Is he bringing that thing out? He's got no choice. And then with the directional, we can go ahead and eliminate a large chunk of the field and really just cover this part right here. Now, that doesn't mean he can't bring the ball back out to the field, but that's where all of our leverage and lane principles really play in. And we talk about having contained players to make sure that you're going to go ahead and set the edge on both sides and make sure that return stays inside. So again, we talk on defense about setting the wall and building the edge. We go ahead and coach kickoff with the same principles. We want to build a wall by not running around blocks, all right, with inside the 20-yard line right there. And we want to go ahead and set the edge with our contained players on the 2. Now, we talk about contain, not letting the ball cross your face. Really, everybody has contained responsibilities. And we talk about that. We'll talk on the back end about our 5x5 principles. But everybody's playing with outside-in leverage to make sure we funnel the ball to where our help is. Well, you look on the backside, again, it's just a good example. When that ball's caught, having our penetrators down there on the 30-yard line, you can really evaluate speed on your team. Are there guys inside the 35? Are there guys on the 30-yard line on the catch? And that ties in a lot to the hang time of the kicker. But with a guy like Graham who's putting that ball consistently at about 4.2 to 4.3 seconds on a hang time, that's going to give you a fair shot to really evaluate how fast are you playing. And again, you see the natural levels that are created with the penetrators and guys playing off. That makes a couple things happen. One, it makes the blocks declare earlier for who's going to block you because the fast guy's going to eat up their blocks earlier, so you know the guy hanging out is going to block you next. All right, the next thing is the faster they play, the more lanes that open up for you to go ahead and play off them right there. So, again, just a good shot right here of really suffocating them down the field, not giving them anywhere to go right there, closing off the lane again, making a tackle right there just about the 20. But Nate Edmonds makes a really vet-savvy play right here, drawing a penalty by knowledge of how to play the scheme we're going to watch on the back end. Ends up starting this drive inside the 15-yard line for us. Really just a good, smart, aware play by Nate. And we'll go to the back end right here and kind of talk about a couple principles. So good tackle right there. A lot of guys we got in this unit we're bringing for the kicking game. A lot of guys are showing up making plays for us week by week. But we're going to start out right here, and you got to kind of look at the kickoff team as independent. So we talk about 5x5 leverage. What we're saying is when the ball's kicked, if you're on the left side of the ball, you want to end up on the left side of the ball with leverage. If you're on the right side of the ball, you want to end up on the right side of the ball. And everybody's funneling that ball to their help to make sure that thing can never go ahead and get it. And if we all cover with that outside in principle, it won't bounce outside our face, and there should be a wall right there with the edges set, just like we talk about on defense. So we're going to start right here all right, on the backside, just watch how the lanes and principles play off. So there's always going to be some kind of a second-level player, a safety you could call, but they're really a fold fitter who's going to get down there and make the play. And then everybody's going to play off each other. So what we teach them is, all right, your base lanes that everyone learns in Pop Warner football is, okay, you run down the field and you cover your lane. Well, the reality is we don't kick the ball straight down the field. So when we kick it directionally, all right, your lane changes, and you squeeze and you press down with leverage. And the base principles of leverage are, all right, once somebody crosses my face from the inside, I take his lane to the inside. So whether you line up straight and run like that, or you crisscross it and play off each other down the way, we're always sounding our lane structure, not opening gaps and giving a vertical seam right there to make a play. So as we watch the backside right here, all right, start with Keon, who's one of the faster guys in the league. You really see right there, Keon bubbles outside. All right, Gary takes the inside lane. Carter's playing off of Gary right there. And as Gary stays outside his face, Carter takes the inside gap, and now he cancels out that inside gap that had Keon kept running, there he is. But the way it plays out, all three of those guys play off each other. CJ's setting our contain this play right here, and here's Logan Ryan ready to fold and fit, cancel it out outside in. But you watch the backside, how they get to the ball, and that's where those run fits really happen. So if you're talking about a defensive structure, whether it's defensive line, defensive ends, and linebackers, it's the same principle right there. And then the second level would be the safety playing off the linebackers right there. We teach it the same way. When you look at the front side of the kick now, all right, it's a good example, all right, of pressing down and then adjusting our leverage. So as we work down here, we're going to work to get outside. Okay, now Cullen's going to run down here 36, and he's going to stay a little bit right here, back door. And we want to squeeze a little bit more and close off those gaps, all right? But as he took this, he knew he had Carter coming to take his gap right there for us. All right, you see Penny driving through the block to close that off. All right, Julian's getting double teamed, and look, that's just natural. Normally there's two double teams on most kickoff returns. You see it here on Cullen, you see it here on Julian. And the emphasis is, look, someone's getting doubled, the singles got to win. Okay, the singles have to win. The doubles have to hold their lane integrity and compress the lane. The singles have to win. They have to show up. So you see Penny right here driving through a block to close off this vertical gap right here. Pep's looking to play off the coverage in front of him and fold and fit wherever he can. But really the biggest part of the play, other than the tackle being made, is you watch Nate Emmer come down here. In 2018, they redid the kickoff rules, and what they made the rules was there's no longer those two-man wedges that could fit together and plow out. They became all single blocks on the backside. What you get from most teams now is more of a stack principle where you have a lead man and a follow man. And he'll take the first man and he'll take the second man. They try and stay tight together to almost simulate that old wedge, but what you get is more single blocks where you can knife and go. Nate came down and recognized he had two guys on the same level. He knew the ball was going vertically. He had two choices. He could have gone through the middle of them, or he could have gone inside, knifed across, and bounced it out to Julian or Pep, who are working off from right here. Seeing that they're on the same level, Nate made a really savvy decision and put them in a position right there, knowing that he was going to draw the penalty for the double wedge block, and the rule back here, because it's all singles, they cannot be in any kind of contact with any other player at the same time, whether it's on the same level on the back end or if they chip someone who's being blocked on the front end. Because that's the rule, he went ahead and took them out of that window right there. It was the right call by the official, and he knew I had players coming to close that gap off, but I'm going to draw that penalty right there and go and eat up a lot of distance on right there. It's one of the main things that's called on kickoff cover, kickoff return plays. It's one of the easiest things for the officials to see. It's something they're definitely watching for. And again, that's just a play from a guy who's covered a lot of kicks in his career at a very high level, of recognizing it, seeing it, knowing he can still close off that lane. He still has guys playing off from right there to cancel it out from outside in both directions, but making sure he brings this guy into the field of play as well and go ahead and change the field position.
Coach, late in the game, you needed to get the ball back, and James Bradbury gets the ball back for you in great position.
You know what? This is a great play by James, really giving our team a chance to keep on in there, end up taking the lead off this play right here. But the biggest thing is you kind of tie it on through, and we talk to players all the time. There's no magic wand for a special call. It's about playing with fundamentals, with awareness, and making the play when it comes your way. And James does a great job of that. He's been playing at a high level for us right here. He's a guy that comes to work every day and really just does everything he's coached to do, and all of a sudden he starts teaching us things as coaches as well with the way he plays on the field. But this is a good shot of the awareness in terms of knowing what they're looking for. And we knew that, you know, a lot of the cross motion you see with these offense, it's really just eye candy, as we say right there. And they're trying to go ahead and take your vision off it and create some confusion going across and some traffic. And what you end up seeing them doing right here is really occupying the middle of the field. I was with Logan Thompson, tight end, who's a big, easy target for these guys right here. All right, but then what they're looking for are spot routes on the outside that really act as picks, like in basketball, to create the easy access throws, all right, for these guys that man defense, you've got bodies crossing over. So the base principles of man defense, and you can change that play 1,000 different ways. And I'm not saying anything that guys in the league don't know already watching this tape, but generally speaking, you're going to go ahead and defend, all right, corners on receivers, your stars or your nickels on the slot receivers. Okay, you're going to cover some kind of safety on a tight end, and you're going to match a backer on a running back right there. And those are the base principles, just playing cover one defense right there, of who you want by body type. It's all about who you have in matchups and how you can play them right there. So by understanding that, you can recognize within the formation, he's in a reduced formation. What's he looking to do? Now, he can go ahead always and take some quick, easy access play right there. All right, but normally what you got to be aware of here is some kind of crosser or mesh route coming from the offense, okay? And if he's doing something going in or spot, you've got to anticipate this guy working off him, because that's the traffic between these two guys right there. They're trying to create that pick and free up a receiver. It's a great job right here of James seeing, first off, that jet motion going across, knowing that's some kind of indicator, knowing that Darnay's going with it. They're seeing man coverage. And then seeing right here, there's that spot route. They're looking to go ahead and really make Tay make a decision. And ultimately, a lot of teams, what they want to do is spot him in front right here, make Tay bubble over the top and create more of a situation where there's more separation. And now it's a catch and run with a linebacker on a back in space. And can you make a miss and get the first down right here? But it's a really good job of James watching and keying. As you watch him, we always tie it back into the fundamentals. And we talk about our fundamentals of plant, point, accelerate with our defensive backs and our linebackers breaking on the ball. And we talk about what that is: sticking your foot in the ground, plant, point with your other toe and direction you're going, and accelerate out of your break without wasted steps. And we work a lot on footwork to eliminate the wasted movement. And you look at right here, because of the efficiency James moves with right here, recognizing that's his man, but also keying the eyes through his man. All right, he makes a great jump right here, is able to get in front, and then finishes the play with a great interception. So again, you watch it back in full speed right here, just watching James throughout the play. Here it comes, recognition, plant, point, accelerate, and just like that, it all happens real fast, but he's in position without any kind of wasted movement. Watch his feet again, and that's that movement we're talking about, that plant, point, accelerate right there. He's going to take him to the ball, and the great thing is you got to finish the play right there. Does a great job getting the interception, secures it for us, tries to get up and extend it right there. But the biggest thing is having the ball security at that point. We're already in field goal range. Again, we talk all the time on both sides of the ball. The NFL field goal percentage, once you hit that red area, is above 95% right there, especially with a guy like Graham. Once we get to that red area, we assume 3 points at that point.
So, Coach, if you go back to the beginning of the formation, just the pre-snap read, you talk about the eye candy or the window dressing. If you can stop it right there, these guys can see this reduced split, so they know there's a possibility that once the curtains pull back, this is what that play's going to be.
That's it. We talk to our guys all the time about bunches and hidden bunches. Sometimes you'll look up top and you'll see a receiver, and they're kind of in that tripod right there, the three receivers. What you've got to find are the hidden bunches. We refer to bunches as three receiver sets. So you see, Humphrey right here, McLaurin right here, and then instead of having a receiver right there, they're really using the back right here, McKissick, as becoming that third receiver right there. So it's that hidden bunch right there. And we talk to our guys, they're not lining up in a reduced split to just run down the field vertically. There's not enough separation and spacing the routes. Not saying they couldn't do that. Some teams do. They'll bring him across right here, maybe run him up the numbers on the seam, and then go ahead and create him on the wheel route. But they create more spacing that way. But you got to go ahead and be alert that, look, when they're in here condensed, they're in there to cause confusion. There's some kind of misdirection element, something going to work off of right here. What are they looking for? When you see any kind of cross motion, there's two elements of it. Number one, to me, it's what are they looking for? What information are you gathering? You're not just running guys across the formation to run them across. You're looking for some kind of information. And the game at this point is all about giving this guy on every team some kind of peek into what's going on pre-snap. So you're talking about these indicator formations. What they're looking for here is by putting Humphreys, the slot, outside of the perimeter receiver McLaurin, they're looking to see who's over him. Is it James outside and Darnay inside? Is it Darnay outside? They see that right there. With the motion going across, they can track and know it's man, okay? And then with James playing right here, they see the separation. They're going to isolate the back right there on Tay, and the awareness of understanding, like, look, they're really playing those three right there versus those three right there. How can they cause the most amount of confusion? How can we play through it? So again, the other thing you've got to be really good at, and I'd say, our safety's done a good job at Logan Ryan's really at an elite level of it, is anticipating pre-snap what's coming. It's not just getting up and getting lined up, but it's the awareness of the check of, hey, verse jet check to whatever it may be. Or alert the hidden bunch, watch for XYZ route, whatever it's going to be. But that awareness, again, especially in man-beaten situations, you get the third down type situations. That's really when man coverage normally comes in across the league. You can play early down man, but third down is really a man coverage situation, especially depending on the stick situation.
And then, just as you run this, to your point, you'll see Bradbury where he looks immediately. You see his head. He knows exactly, anticipating exactly what's coming just based on that.
That's exactly it right there. And there's different ways you can play this and bracket it off, and some teams will go ahead and switch that on off right there and say, you go ahead and buy him and you take him. The danger of doing that stuff against a guy like McLaurin is if they keep going and continuing across, you're cutting him with a linebacker.
Yeah.
That's not always the matchup you really want right there.
Coach, we appreciate the time.
Thanks, Coach.
Appreciate it, guys.